If we had put on the flyer, come for miracles and prophecies, this place would be overflowing. But I didn't invite a crowd. I called a class. Crowds follow spectacle. Students follow substance. My real love is people like you who believe this is for you. Jesus didn't trust crowds. The Bible says Jesus did not commit himself unto them because he knew all men. John 2:24. He fed them? Yes. He taught them? Yes. But he didn't hand them the steering wheel. Why? Because crowds are impressed by motion. Leaders are committed to destination. Write this down. No vision, no leadership. 2025 will expose it. I want you to feel the weight of that. Because the next season will be a vision audit. Not an energy test. Not a charisma contest. A clarity exam. Proverbs 29:18 says, where there is no vision, the people perish. The Hebrew there is hazon revelation. A clear sight from God. Without it, people cast off restraint. They run wild. They spin. They post. They hustle. They sweat. They burn out and still go nowhere. Another verse for you. Jesus said, if the blind lead the blind, both shall fall into the ditch. Matthew 15:14. That is not a metaphor about eyes. It is a warning about leaders without sight. Blind leadership doesn't lack passion. It lacks destination. Say it with me. Vision first. Leadership follows. Vision is more important than leadership. That sounds backward to some of you, but you will thank me in December. Leadership is influence, yes. But influence toward what? If you don't know where you're going, your influence is just a louder foghorn in a thick night. Write this down. 2025 will not reward energy. It will reward direction. The market doesn't pay for sweat. It pays for solved problems. Heaven doesn't anoint noise. It anoints assignment. Your followers, real ones, are not coming because you talk well. They are coming because you see well. Let me confront you as a father would. Many of you are busy. Some of you are exhausted. Few of you are effective. The difference is vision. Imagine a car with a full tank, brand new engine, speakers blasting. It revs. It roars. It draws attention. But the driver has no destination. So he circles the block all day. People clap at the sound of the engine and the shine of the paint, but the odometer mocks him. He's impressive and lost. That is 90% of social media leadership volume without vision. Don't be impressed with power. Ask, where are we going? Say this, I refuse to be impressive and lost. Identity begins this conversation. You are not an accident. You are an assignment. God thought of a problem, wrapped the solution in your spirit, and called it you. Before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee. Jeremiah 1-5. You were pre-approved for a destination. That is why this matters. We are not here to help you get more followers. We are here to help you become someone worth following. And that happens when vision takes the front seat and leadership buckles up. Write this down. Leadership is the servant. Vision is the king. In 2025, clarity will outperform charisma. The algorithm can push your face, but only vision will pull the right people. The crowd is not proof you are leading. Sometimes it's proof you're entertaining. Jesus fed 5,000. When he spoke about eating his flesh substance, the crowd thinned. When the message clarifies, the numbers purify. That's not failure, that's focus. I am going to give you a playbook, not hype. A playbook. By the end of this journey, you will have a 7-question vision filter that decides in seconds. You will stop asking, is this good? And start asking, is this mine? You will stop chasing opportunities and start selecting assignments. You will have a way to translate vision into calendar, budget, and a scoreboard you can check every week. You will not have to run after followers. You will deploy your gift, and those assigned to your fruit will find you. Write this down. Sight establishes destination. Destination authorizes decisions. Decisions produce fruit. Fruit is the only proof of leadership. Jesus said, by their fruits ye shall know them. Matthew 7:20. In 2025, fruit will expose pretenders because vision creates metrics. Vision places demand on your time. Vision edits your friendships. Vision says no faster than a manager says yes. This is why most people avoid vision. It makes you accountable to an outcome. Let me show you the difference between motion and mission. Motion says, I am busy. Mission says, I am becoming. Motion fills a calendar. Mission fulfills a calling. Motion celebrates views. Mission produces value. Write this down. Speed without sight is a crash scheduled for later. God told Habakkuk, write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it. Habakkuk 2:2. Notice run comes after write. Running before writing is how you get famous for nothing. No more. Say it with me. Vision first, leadership follows. I can hear someone thinking, but I'm a born leader. Good. Lead where? I'm anointed. Wonderful. Anointed for what? Oil without an assignment is just grease. In 2025, heaven will not endorse random. Heaven will resource revealed. The Father is not funding confusion. He is financing clarity. So here is the opening covenant. For the next hours we are together, you will trade personality for purpose, applause for accuracy, and effort for exactness. Write this down. 2025 will not reward energy. It will reward direction. Say it again until your heart hears it. Your heart, the subconscious, the hard drive runs your life. If it believes you must please everyone, you will chase everyone and lose yourself. If it believes your life has a God-authored destination, you will offend the wrong people en route to the right fruit. I am not here to excite you. Excitement decays. I am here to instruct you. Instruction builds. Jesus turned to the 12 when the crowd left and said, will ye also go away? John sag's, gegen 67. Peter replied, to whom shall we go? Thou hast the words of eternal life. Words, not fireworks. Substance. Vision is the substance that sustains followership when spectacle fades, and spectacle will fade. 2025 will turn the lights on. When the lights come up, only those who can point will still be standing. So welcome, leaders in waiting. By the time we finish, you will no longer be waiting. You will see. You will choose. You will move with purpose. You will become dangerous to confusion. One more time, with conviction. No vision, no leadership. 2025 will expose it. Vision first, leadership follows. And if you can accept that, then you're ready for everything that comes next. Before we talk about where you're going, we must settle who you are. Vision without identity is a mirage. Write this down. You cannot lead beyond the image you carry of yourself. Genesis is not just history, it is the manufacturer's manual. The first chapter is not about religion, it is about design specifications. Listen carefully. And God said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion. Genesis 1:26. Order matters. Image before dominion. Likeness before leadership. Being before doing. Leadership begins in discovered identity. The dominion mandate precedes any title or technique. Now let me exegete this like a mechanic taking an engine apart. The text says, let us make man. The Hebrew term used in this context is ish, human, as a species, not male as in gender. This is vital because some of you women were taught to apologize for your strength. The verse goes on to say, male and female created he them. Genesis 1:27. The dominion mandate was given to the species, to the human family. So, ladies, stop asking permission to be what God already ordained. And brothers, stop thinking authority is masculinity. Dominion is identity, not testosterone. Say it with me. I am not an accident. I am an assignment. I was created for dominion. And let them have dominion. The Hebrew word there is rad. Some write it as radah, meaning to rule, to tread down, to govern, to manage, to master by responsibility. It does not mean to dominate people. Read the list God gave. Over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth. Not one human is mentioned as your subject. God never gave man dominion over man. That's why tyrants are insecure. They are trying to lead where God never authorized authority. Jesus reinforced this when he said, the kings of the Gentiles exercise lordship over them, but ye shall not be so. Luke 22:25-26. Write this down. You were created to lead and designed to dominate in your assignment, not people. Your assignment is the domain of your dominion. That domain may be numbers, sound, systems, children, soil, ideas, medicine, mechanics. When you discover that domain, you don't need a title to rule there. Leaders function because of nature, not nomination. The eagle doesn't apply to the sky. Its design authorizes altitude. The lion doesn't file forms to roar. Its identity authorizes attitude. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Proverbs 23:7. If your heart believes you are a beggar, your mind will sabotage your dominion to protect your poverty. If your heart believes you are an image bearer, your behavior will begin to match heaven's blueprint. Let me be surgical. Image is the invisible picture you carry about yourself, stamped by your Creator. Likeness is your functional resemblance, how you act, decide, and create like Him. Dominion is the natural consequence of accurate image and consistent likeness. That is why the devil's first campaign is not against your money or your job, it is against your image. He wants to convince you to see yourself through culture, color, class, or crisis. Write this down. Leadership starts with image and ends with influence. If the image is broken, the influence is counterfeit. If the image is clear, the influence becomes inevitable. Psalm 8 echoes the manual. What is man that thou art mindful of him? Thou madest him to have dominion over the works of thy hands. Psalm 8:4-6. Not over the works of men, over the works of his hands. This means your rulership is over creation systems, not over God's children. The plant obeys you when you understand agriculture. The algorithm bows when you understand code. The balance sheet yields when you understand finance. The reason you feel frustrated is because religion taught you to shout over what you refuse to study. Dominion requires knowledge. If you don't learn the laws of your domain, you will be a prince acting like a pauper. You will never become a true leader until you are introduced to yourself. Not the self manufactured by trauma. Not the self revised by opinions. The self God imagined when he said, let us. Identity is not a discovery you make alone. It is a revelation you receive in presence. Moses could not face Pharaoh until he met I am. Gideon could not face Midian until the angel called him mighty man of valor. And you will keep negotiating with smallness until you hear what heaven calls. You, say this with conviction, I am not an accident. I am an assignment. I was created for dominion. I must confront a lie politely. Some of you are addicted to titles because you never met your image. Titles are rented. Image is owned. They can take the position. They cannot take the person. Your job is what they pay you to do. Your work is what you were born to do. If they fire you, your gift goes with you. Dominion is your birthright. Position is a parking space. Stop fighting for spaces when God gave you a territory. Write this down. When image is intact, influence becomes fruit, not force. This is why vision outranks leadership, because sight establishes destination, and destination awakens identity. When you see where you are sent, you remember who you are. Joseph remained a ruler in a prison because he never lost the picture. Daniel remained a governor in a den because he never surrendered his likeness. Jesus, tempted in the wilderness, refused the devil's shortcuts because image and assignment were non-negotiable. The tempter said, if thou be the Son of God. The attack was on identity. He defeated it with word, not adrenaline. So will you. Let me make it practical. Begin to audit the voices that formed your image. Who told you what you are worth? Who named you? Who defined success for you? Did they read the manual? If not, why are you letting untrained users adjust manufacturer settings? You keep bringing your soul to a repairman who never opened Genesis 1:26. No wonder the parts wobble. Return to the manufacturer. Say it with me. I return to the image. I embrace the likeness. I exercise dominion in my assignment. Creation is waiting on this. Romans 8 says, for the earnest expectation of the creature waited for the manifestation of the sons of God. The planet is groaning for leaders who don't exploit people, who don't worship algorithms, who don't chase crowds, but who rule in their domain by serving their design. Vision will tell you where. Identity will tell you who. Gift will tell you how. Fruit will tell you when you are doing it right. But the first key in the ignition is image. I close this segment with a covenant of confession. Put your hand on your heart, the hard drive, and speak to your subconscious until it submits. Say it. I am made in the image of God. I carry His likeness. I am not a title. I am an original. I do not dominate people. I serve people with my dominion. My assignment is my authority. I was created for dominion. Write this down and never erase it. When you see yourself as He saw you in Genesis, you will stop begging in Exodus, stop wandering in Numbers, and start reigning in your promised land. Leadership begins when identity is recovered. Meet the you God made, and your vision will finally have a leader worthy to follow. Now that you have shaken hands with yourself, we must settle the next non-negotiable. Where are you going? Identity is the engine. Vision is the windshield. Write this down. You cannot drive destiny looking in the rearview mirror of other people's opinions. You met the you God made. Now you must see the future God showed. Vision is not a vibe. It is not a mood. Vision is a clear, compelling, consistent picture of a preferred future anchored in your God-given purpose. Say it with me. Vision from purpose, not from pressure. Habakkuk heard it first. Write the vision and make it plain. Habakkuk 2:2. Plain means clear enough for runners to run without asking for directions. Vision is the picture that tells your leadership what to deliver. Write this down. Vision decides, leadership delivers. Vision answers where and why. Leadership answers how and when. If you confuse these, you will exhaust the crew while drifting at sea. A captain without a map just rearranges deck chairs. Jesus said, if the blind lead the blind, both shall fall into the ditch. Matthew 15:14. That's not about corneas. It's about clarity. Leadership without sight is disaster on schedule. Let me separate what your culture has blended. Dreams are desires, what you'd like. Ambition is energy, how badly you want it. Goals are milestones, what you measure on the way. Vision is destination where you must arrive because heaven authored it. Write this down. Goals serve vision. They do not replace it. The reason your goals feel empty is because they've been working for a boss called pressure instead of a king called purpose. Pressure says, what will impress them by Friday? Purpose asks, what will serve them in a decade? Pressure chases applause. Purpose produces fruit. Jesus said, by their fruits ye shall know them. Matthew 7:20. Fruit is the offspring of vision, not the residue of hustle. I have watched many talented people mistake a dream board for a blueprint. A dream is, I want a big house. Vision is, by 2027, through the gift of building men, I will establish a trades academy that trains 300 fatherless boys annually in this city to master carpentry, plumbing, and electrical work, restoring dignity to families and value to neighborhoods. Do you feel the difference? Dreams center you. Vision serves others. Dreams excite the heart. Vision assigns the hands. Write this down. If it does not define people, place, and product, it is not vision. It is a wish. Vision must be consistent. Consistency is not stubbornness. It is fidelity to purpose. Jesus modeled it. I must work the works of him that sent me. John 9:4. I do nothing of myself, but as my Father had taught me, I speak. John 8:28. He set his face to go to Jerusalem. Luke 9:51. That is destination language. Even when the crowd tried to crown him king by force, he withdrew. Why? Because pressure wanted policy. Purpose demanded a cross. Write this down. Pressure is a terrible compass. It always points to comfort, not calling. Vision also must be compelling. Compelling doesn't mean dramatic. It means magnetic. It pulls resources into alignment because it announces meaning. Money follows meaning. People give their best to what makes sense of their lives. When Nehemiah said, "Come, let us build," he wasn't selling bricks. He was restoring identity. That's why enemies mocked, but walls rose. Your vision must be compelling enough to survive mockery. If it collapses under comments, it was never a conviction, it was a performance. Let's define it precisely. Write this down. Vision is a picture from God that organizes your life. It edits options. It tells your calendar what to ignore. It tells your budget what to fund. It tells your relationships what to protect. That is why I keep saying, vision outranks leadership. Leadership is influence, but influence toward what? Influence without a picture is just louder wandering. The people perish, Proverbs says. Where there is no vision, Proverbs 29-18. Perish doesn't only mean die, it means cast off restraint. Without vision, you cannot say no, and every yes becomes a leash. Vision answers where and why. Where am I sent? Why must this exist? Leadership answers how and when. How shall we build? When do we launch? If you try to solve how before you settle where, you will recruit the wrong people to go the wrong direction excellently. When the where is clear, the who becomes obvious. When the why is burning, the how becomes creative. Say this with me. Sight first, step second. I must warn you as a father, do not confuse external pressure with internal purpose. Saul tried to dress David for Philistine pressure. The armor looked like leadership, but it didn't match assignment. David said, "I cannot go with these, for I have not proved them." 1 Samuel 17:39. That is vision talking. Vision refuses tools that don't fit destiny. Some of you are suffocating under borrowed armor, family expectations, donor demands, algorithm appetites, and calling it wisdom. It is pressure. Write this down. If it dilutes the picture, it disqualifies the tool. How do you know if what you have is a vision and not a vibe? Tested by 5 markers. 1, it aligns with purpose. Your gift deployed for others' benefit. 2, it demands fruit, clear outcomes, not just activity. 3, it specifies people who precisely is served. 4, it names place where this is anchored, even if scalable. 5, it sets principles what you will never violate to get there. We will give you a 7-question filter later, but for now, let this be your starter kit. Write this down. Vague vision breeds violent schedules. Clarity is mercy. Think like an architect. The blueprint is vision. The bricks are goals. Have you ever seen a crew dump bricks on a lot and start stacking without a plan? That is social media leadership, heaps of bricks, no building. They celebrate piles as progress. Then the rain comes. Jesus told the story. 1 house on rock, 1 on sand. The storm didn't create difference, it revealed foundation. 2025 will be a rainstorm. The houses with vision blueprints will stand. The piles built under pressure will slide. Here is a holy practicality. Take out your mental pen. Write this down and say it with me. My vision is a picture from purpose, not from pressure. Now define it in 1 sentence with nouns and numbers. Who are the people? What is the product or fruit? Where is the place? By when will the first measurable outcome appear? Example. By December 2025, through my gift of financial systems, I will equip 1,000 emerging entrepreneurs in my region to implement profit and cash dashboards, increasing their net margins by 10% while stewarding integrity. Do you feel the difference? That sentence will hire and fire for you. That sentence will schedule your week. That sentence will say no for you faster than your emotions can say yes. Say this aloud. I refuse to lead without sight. I refuse to confuse movement with mission. I choose vision over pressure. And hear me, this is not about being famous, it's about being faithful. Jesus didn't need a crowd to confirm direction. He needed clarity to complete assignment. John 5:19 says, the Son can do nothing of himself but what he seeth the Father do. Seeth, sight, vision. He acted from a picture. So will you. Finally, I want to free you. You don't need permission to see. You need courage to choose. Vision will offend the right people and attract the right ones. Leaders don't seek followers. Followers are attracted to leaders. And followers are attracted to those who see. So write it. Make it plain. Let vision decide. Let leadership deliver. Because vision is the non-negotiable destination your leadership must serve. Once the picture is set, the pace will follow. And 2025 will not drag you, you will direct it. Now that image is waking up in you. We must address the engine that will carry that image to its destination. Write this down. Leadership is 80% mentality and 20% skill. Skills polish performance. Belief powers movement. Your belief system determines your philosophy of life, what you think is possible, permissible, practical, and profitable. If your philosophy is small, your life will obey it. For as he thinketh in his heart, so is he. Proverbs 23:7. Not as he thinks in his head, in his heart. The Hebrew word there is lev, the inner man, the subconscious controller. Your heart is the hard drive. It runs in the background. It overrides your speeches. It dictates your reflexes. Proverbs 4:23 says, keep thy heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life. Issues means boundaries, flows, speed. Your life travels at the pace of your heart's beliefs. Say it with me. My belief sets my speed. My vision sets my direction. Let me illustrate with the jungle. The lion is not the tallest animal. The giraffe is. The lion is not the fastest animal. The cheetah is. The lion is not the strongest animal. The elephant is. Yet when the lion shows up, every creature adjusts. Why? Attitude. Write this down. Leadership is a product of attitude before it is an act of authority. Your eyes say that's an elephant. Your belief says that's lunch. The elephant sees a lion and thinks danger, so the elephant 10 times larger runs. The lion sees the elephant and thinks dinner, so the lion smaller charges. The same situation, different philosophy. That is leadership. Your belief interprets what your eyes observe. If you see a crisis and call it a classroom, you will learn. If you see a critic and call him a coach, you will grow. If you see a limitation and call it a lane, you will accelerate within it. Write this down. Your attitude is your internal governor. It decides your velocity. Jesus said, all things are possible to him that believeth. Mark 9:23. He did not say all things are possible to him that is popular. He tied possibility to belief. That means your future is not controlled by your followers, it is controlled by your heart. This is why you can sit in church for 20 years and never change, because sermons do not override systems you refuse to reset. Your heart must be rewritten. The Greek calls it cardia, the control center. Paul says, be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, Romans 12:2. Renewing is a software update. If you keep running old code, fear, unworthiness, scarcity, your new vision will still crash. Let me take you from the jungle to the highway. Every car has two speed indicators, the speedometer and the speed limit sign. The speedometer tells you what the manufacturer designed you to do. The sign tells you what society will allow you to do. Culture sets limits beneath your design capacity. Religion sets limits. Family sets limits. Algorithms set limits. Neighborhoods set limits. Some of you have a 240 on your spirit's speedometer, and you have been driving at 35 because that is what your street expects. Write this down. Never confuse a posted limit with your built capacity. They are not the same. 2025 will expose a difference. The reason you feel restless is because your design is protesting your compliance. I remember the first time I was driven on the Autobahn in Germany. No posted limit. The driver looked at me and smiled. And then the car began to sing. 80, 100, 120, 140. Everything in my Bahamian brain started to pray old prayers. But then something happened. At 160, the chassis steadied At 170, the car felt more at home than it did at 60. Write this down. There is life after 170. When limits lift, potential appears. I discovered that my fear was set by my street, not by my speedometer. The machine had been waiting on my mind. Your life is the same. When the heart's limiter is removed, your destiny stops lurching and starts gliding. You become smoother at higher speeds because you were designed for them. Now let me bring this home to Scripture, because we do not build our case on stories alone. Deuteronomy 1-2 says it is 11 days journey from Horeb to Kadesh Barnea by the way of Mount Seir. 11 days. It took Israel 40 years. Why? Not deserts, beliefs. They were delivered from Egypt, but Egypt was not delivered from them. They tolerated a slave philosophy. Write this down. Deliverance gets you out. Belief gets you through. God did not change the geography. He waited for a generation to change their heart. That is velocity theology. Ephesians 3:20 says, now unto him that is able to do exceeding abundantly above all that we ask or think, watch the regulator, according to the power that worketh in us. According to means in proportion to. God's capacity is constant. Your experience is variable, set by internal power, your belief. That is the speed limit. So in 2025, I am asking you to remove artificial ceilings. Do not reduce your dream to the comfort of your critics. Do not slow your assignment because your relatives are allergic to acceleration. Write this down. You are not responsible for the dizziness of people who have never traveled at your speed. You are responsible for driving accurately within your design. Accuracy requires two things, direction and belief. Vision chooses the lane. Belief presses the pedal. Some of you have clear lanes but timid feet. Others have heavy feet but no lane. Both crash. That is why we marry them. Vision for direction. Belief for velocity. How do you reset the heart's hard drive? Words, images, and rituals. Proverbs says, death and life are in the power of the tongue. Proverbs 18:21. Why? Because words program the heart. Stop cursing your future with casual speech. Stop saying, I'm trying, and start saying, I am doing. Replace people like me never get there with, I was born for dominion. Flood your eyes with the picture of your destination. Habakkuk told you to write the vision so runners could read. Reading resets routing. Build rituals that agree with where you are going. Morning declarations, weekly reviews, strategic silence. And guard your gates. If the music, the memes, and the meetings disagree with your vision, they are malware. Uninstall them. Let me be a father for a moment. Some of you failed not because you lack talent, but because you disobeyed your limit. You obeyed the posted sign from someone who never read your manual. I am giving you permission to return to your manufacturer's specifications. You are not reckless. You are responsible at higher speeds. You are not arrogant. You are accurate about your assignment. Say it with me, loud enough to rewrite the hard drive. My belief sets my speed. My vision sets my direction. Again, my belief sets my speed. My vision sets my direction. Write this down and stamp it on 2025. Speed without sight is a crash. And sight without speed is a stall. You were not born to crash or to stall. You were born to run and to arrive. Lift the limit. Update the heart. Match your pace to your picture. And when the year tries to slow you to the average of your surroundings, check your speedometer, not their sign, and press with confidence. Your future has been waiting for your foot. Now that the picture is set, I must put a tool in your hand. Write this down. In 2025, the noise is lethal. You need a filter, not more options. Options will drown you. A filter will direct you. Proverbs 4:23 says, keep thy heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life. Your heart, the hard drive, must be guarded by vision. So I am giving you 7 questions that will decide in seconds, not hours, not days, seconds. Because delay is expensive when distraction is aggressive. Question 1, alignment. Does this align with my assignment and the image of God in me? If it doesn't match the you God made, it will mutate you into what the crowd wants. Genesis 1:26, image and likeness, then dominion. John 5:19, Jesus said, He only did what he saw the Father do. Alignment is the safety of kings. Before you say yes, ask, does this reflect who I am in him, or does it require me to edit my image to be accepted? If it asks you to downplay your conviction, dilute your values, or disguise your design, that's not alignment, that's assimilation. Say it with me. Assignment before activity. Write it down. Tattoo it on your planner. Assignment before activity. Question 2. Gift. Does this deploy my discovered gift? Not just my job skill. Your job is what they pay you to do. Your work is what you were born to do. Some offers will pay your job but starve your work. 1 Peter 4:10 says, as every man hath received the gift, even so minister the same one to another. Gifts are for service, not storage. When you run an opportunity through this filter, ask, will this make my gift sweat? Will it force my uniqueness to come out of hiding? Or is it just rent money for a role I could do asleep? If it does not require your gift, it will not ignite your spirit. Say it with me. I serve my gift, not the boss, not the brand, the gift. Because when the gift serves, value appears and followers locate you without you begging. Question 3, dominion. Does this extend dominion, order, value, stewardship in my sphere? Dominion radar means to bring things under responsible management. Genesis 1:28 says, be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth and subdue it and have dominion. Real vision doesn't produce chaos, it organizes creation. Ask, if I take this, will more order appear in my domain? Will systems improve? Will waste be reduced? Will people be better stewarded? The kingdom manifests as order. The devil manifests as disorder. If an opportunity introduces confusion, it is not expansion, it is temptation. Say it with me. I bring order. When you step in, things should begin to function with clarity. If they get foggier after you arrive, you are out of place. Question 4, fruit. Can we measure fruit in 90 days? Value delivered, not vanity. Jesus said, herein is my Father glorified, that ye bear much fruit. John 15:8. And again, by their fruits ye shall know them. Matthew 7:20. Fruit is not applause. Fruit is outcome. A 90-day window is not to finish everything. It is to produce evidence. Evidence might be a prototype completed, a pilot cohort trained, a process codified, a margin increased, a habit installed. If you cannot name the 90-day fruit before you start, you are pursuing fantasy, not vision. Write this down. If you can't measure it, you can't manage it. Say it with me. Fruit over fame. Likes don't change lives. Value does. Question 5. Attraction. Will this attract those I'm called to serve without me chasing them? Vision is a magnet. Proverbs 18:16 says, a man's gift maketh room for him and bringeth him before great men. Your gift creates gravity. Ask, does this decision increase the signal of my assignment so the right people can find me, or does it drown my message in noise, forcing me to beg for attention? Leaders don't seek followers. Followers are attracted to leaders. When value is clear, people volunteer. If an opportunity requires constant pursuit to keep uninterested audiences engaged, you are marketing to strangers who will never buy. Say it with me. Value magnetizes. Make the value undeniable, and the right eyes will arrive. Question 6. Courage. Does this require ending something I've tolerated? Leadership is born when toleration ends. Hebrews 12:1. Let us lay aside every weight. Some of you can't say yes to vision because your arms are full of yesterday's compromises. This filter forces repentance, which simply means a change of mind that produces a change of direction. Ask to say yes to this. What must die? What habit, contract, partnership, or pet project no longer serves the destination? If there's nothing to end, it may not be leadership. It may be entertainment. Say it with me. Toleration ends today. The moment you refuse to tolerate what violates your vision, you become dangerous to confusion. Question 7. Stewardship. Do I have or can I secure the time, talent, and treasury to do it excellently now? Luke 14:28 asks, which of you, intending to build a tower, sitteth not down first, and counteth the cost, whether he has sufficient to finish it. Wanting is not the same as ready. Excellence is the spirit of Daniel. An excellent spirit was in him, Daniel 6:3. Ask, do I have the hours, the hands, and the resources to deliver this at my standard? If not in hand, can I honorably secure them within the timeline? Excellence is not perfection. It is integrity in delivery. If you cannot do it excellently now, schedule it later or say no. Say it with me. Excellence or no. Sloppy is not kingdom. Sloppy is theft of trust. Write this down as a non-negotiable rule. If 2 or more answers are no, it's not yours, at least not now. Timing is holy. Some opportunities are true, but premature. Premature fruit is sour, even if it is the right tree. Habakkuk said, though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. Habakkuk 2-3. Waiting is not laziness when it guards excellence. Let me show you how this works in real life. A conference invites you to speak next month. Big platform, large honorarium. Your emotions start dancing. But your vision sentence says, your assignment in 2025 is to equip 1,000 emerging entrepreneurs in your region with ethical financial systems. Run it through the filter. Alignment. Will this stage require you to preach generic motivation, or can you teach systems to your called audience? Gift. Will it make your financial architecture gift sweat, or just your storytelling skill? Dominion. Will this extend order in your sphere, or is it random applause? Fruit. Can you point to a 90-day outcome, say 50 entrepreneurs onboarded to dashboards? Attraction. Will your talk pull your precise audience to you? Or will it fill your inbox with requests for things you don't do? Courage. To prepare for this, must you end a weekly meeting that's wasting time? Do you have the hours to prepare excellently without robbing your current cohorts? If 2 or more are no, bless them and decline. Your no is holy when it protects your yes. Here's another. A donor offers funding if you pivot your nonprofit from fatherhood mentoring to generic youth entertainment. Alignment says no, your image and assignment of fathers restored. Gift says no, your gift is crafting rites of passage, not hosting concerts. Dominion says no, it creates event chaos, not life order. You don't need to pray about that. You need to obey your filter. The Spirit is not the author of confusion, 1 Corinthians 14:33. He is the governor of order. Write this down. The filter will save you from flattery and famine. Flattery feeds your ego. Famine eats your time. With this in hand, your decisions will accelerate because your destination is set. Isaiah 30:15 says, in quietness and in confidence shall be your strength. Quietness comes when your yes is clear. Confidence comes when your no is clean. Use the filter and your peace will return. Some of you will argue, but it's such a good opportunity. Good does not mean yours. Saul's armor was good armor. It wasn't David's assignment. I cannot go with these, for I have not proved them. 1 Samuel 17:39. Your filter empowers you to hand back what doesn't fit without apology. You are not rude. You are responsible. Say it again. Assignment before activity. I serve my gift. I bring order. Fruit over fame. Value magnetizes. Toleration ends today. Excellence or no? Starting tonight, run every invitation, every partnership, every meeting, every purchase, every post through these 7 questions. Your calendar will purify. Your budget will simplify. Your team will clarify. And your fruit will multiply. Matthew 6:33 promises, seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. Seeking first the kingdom is seeking first the vision of the king order, purpose, righteousness. The filter is how you seek first in practical steps. Remember, we are not trying to be popular. We are choosing to be precise. Vision outranks leadership because sight establishes destination. The filter translates sight into selection. And in 2025, selection will be your superpower. Choose only what your vision authored, and your decisions will begin to prophesy your future without you saying a word. By their fruits, we will know you. By your filter, you will protect them. Now that your speed and your lane have married, let me ask the question everyone whispers when the car starts moving. Who's the leader? We love that question because it feels safe. It sounds like order. But I'm going to short circuit a religious habit right now. Write this down. In a vision-led culture, leadership is not a throne, it is a function. Who's the leader in the car? No one. And everyone, when vision is the GPS. Let me take you under the hood. I like engines because they don't lie. The starter thinks it's important. The alternator thinks it's important. The steering wheel thinks it's important. The brake pads think they're very important. The spark plugs, quiet but faithful, think they're important. And then there's a $4 terminal wire on the battery that nobody ever brags about. Remove that $4 wire and your big, beautiful, leather-seated, Bluetooth-connected, title-heavy vehicle says nothing. Silence. Write this down. Importance is contextual to vision. Titles don't move cars. Torque does. Torque is the capacity to turn the vision into motion. The loudest part is not always the leading part. The prettiest part is not always the pivotal part. Leadership is distributed by function and unified by destination. Vision is the GPS. It tells the car where to go. Leadership is every part aligning to get there. When the GPS says turn right in 500 meters, the steering function leads for that moment. When the hill gets steep, the transmission and torque lead. When it's time to stop, the brakes lead. When you need to see in the rain, the wipers lead. Who's the leader? No one. And everyone when vision is the GPS. Write this down. The moment decides the leader. The destination decides the moment. If you grasp this, you will stop worshiping titles and start honoring roles. Scripture already taught you this. For the body is not one member, but many. The eye cannot say unto the hand, I have no need of thee. Nay, much more those members of the body, which seem to be more feeble, are necessary. 1 Corinthians 12, 14, 21, 22. The body is a car. Christ is the head. Vision is the Father's will destination. Each gift is a function from whom the whole body fitly joined together and compacted by that which every joint supply it, make it increase of the body. Ephesians 4:16. Increase happens when joints supply, not when titles impress. Write this down. Leaders don't compete, they complete. This is urgent for 2025. Because your car is now scattered across time zones. Your engine is in Lagos. Your transmission is in London. Your steering is in Atlanta. Your wipers are in Manila. Cross-functional, remote, hybrid teams cannot afford celebrity parts. Every morning, every meeting, every sprint must submit function to destination daily. Why? Because distance magnifies drift. If you don't re-anchor the room to the GPS, slack threads become traffic. Zoom squares become spectators. And your week becomes a parade of activity without a rival. Jesus said, if the blind lead the blind, both shall fall into the ditch. Matthew 15:14. In 2025 language, if the thread leads the team, you will shift noise. Vision must lead. So here is practice you can do tomorrow morning. Write this down. Start every meeting with the vision statement and this week's destination checkpoints. Read the 2-sentence vision aloud. Say it with me. Vision leads. We align. Then outline the top 3 checkpoints for the week. Call them waypoints, not task checkpoints. By Friday, 50 qualified leads booked into discovery calls for the Trades Academy. By Wednesday, prototype V2, tested with 10 mothers and 2 teachers. By Thursday, cash position reconciled and 4 or 5-day runway secured. Specific, measurable, mission serving. After you name the checkpoint, assign the functional lead for that checkpoint. Not the highest title, the right function. If the waypoint is risk mitigation, the brakes lead. If the waypoint is partnership pitch, the steering leads. If the waypoint is a scale test, the engine and transmission lead. Who's the leader for checkpoint 1? The person whose function is required for motion right now. No hurt feelings, no politics, just purpose. Write this down. Rotate the microphone according to the moment. The functional lead speaks first, reports reality, and proposes the move. The rest supply. And guard this rule. 5 minutes to re-anchor to vision. 15 minutes to move blockers. 0 minutes for ego. Titles wait in the lobby. Talk comes into the room. This is how you honor 1 Corinthians 12 without turning your meeting into therapy. You are not there to admire each other's parts. You are there to move the mission. Let me be a father for a second. Many of you are late, not because you lack talent, but because your meetings have no driver. Everyone is trying to steer at the same time while no one is watching the GPS. Write this down. Don't be impressed with power. Ask where we're going. A steering wheel turning itself without instruction is not leadership. It's a tantrum. The Spirit is not the author of confusion. Vision is order. Order is acceleration. When roles are clear and moments are honored, even a $4 wire walks into the room with dignity because it knows that without it, nothing starts. Say it with me. I lead in my function. I submit to our destination. Again, I lead in my function. I submit to our destination. That's kingdom order. Jesus modeled distributed leadership. He sent them 2 by 2 with assignment-specific authority. Peter led at Pentecost with proclamation. Stephen led with administration and wisdom. Philip led in a chariot with evangelism. Paul led with doctrine and mission structure. Different checkpoints, same destination. I must work the works of him that sent me. John 9-4. He saw the GPS. What did he see the Father do? John 5:19. Then deployed the right function for the moment. Here's a simple framework for your 2025 rhythm. Write this down. Open with the vision. 2 sentences. Read it. Believe it. Name the 3 weekly destination checkpoints. Nouns and numbers. Assign functional leads per checkpoint. Clarify what done looks like. Identify the $4 wires, small dependencies that can stall the whole car. Protect them, fund them, thank them. Close with a declaration. We lead by function. We arrive by vision. Do this for 90 days and watch jealousy drop. Watch meetings shorten. Watch fruit appear. Why? Because people love clarity. Your team has been suffocating under vague authority. They don't want another boss. They want a destination that tells them when to lead and when to support. That is maturity. Romans 12 calls it sober thinking, accurate measure of self according to grace. Romans 12:3. You are not small. You are specific. Specificity is strength. Let me finish with the parable one more time so you never forget. A $4 wire failed on my car once. The shop owner smiled. Pastor, this little thing is why the mighty V8 won't even cough. I paid. The car roared. And I wrote this down. Never despise the part that looks cheap. It might be the gate to the journey. In 2025, honor the quiet connectors, the handoff documents, the calendar integrators, the QA testers, the compliance reviewers. They are your wires. If they fail, your vision idles. If they're valued, your vision flies. Say it out loud until the culture hears you. Who's the leader? No one. And everyone when vision is the GPS. We do not follow titles. We follow sight. We do not compete for seats. We complete the assignment. And when every part supplies, the car doesn't just move, it arrives. Now with your filter in your hand, I want to take you from paycheck to purpose. Write this down. Your job is what they pay you to do. Your work is what you were born to do. The job is temporary. The work is eternal. The job is a role. The work is a gift. And here is the good news. If they fire you, your gift goes with you. They can take the desk, not the design. They can cancel the contract, not the calling. Proverbs 18:16 says, a man's gift maketh room for him and bringeth him before great men. Not his resume, his gift. Not his followers, his gift. Your value is portable. Paul told Timothy, stir up the gift of God which is in thee. 2 Timothy 1-6. He did not say, stir up your title. He said, gift. The Greek word is charisma, grace, endowment. It is not for entertainment. It is for service. 1 Peter 4, 10 commands. As every man hath received the gift, even so minister the same one to another. Gifts are not ornaments to admire. They are instruments to employ. Write this down. Deploy, don't display. When you display a gift, people clap. When you deploy a gift, people change. How do you recognize the gift you must deploy? Signals are everywhere if you stop ignoring them. Write this down. The signal of your gift is that effort feels light. Results compound and gratitude increases. Effort feels light, you finish, and you are more energized than when you began. Results compound. What took 10 hours last year now takes 2 and produces twice the fruit. Gratitude increases. Your inbox fills with thank you. This helped from the exact kind of people you are called to serve. That's the scent of your assignment. If you are doing a thing and all 3 signals are absent, heavy effort, stagnant results, silent gratitude, you are likely renting a job, not releasing your work. Let me give you a picture. Joseph lost his coat, his position, his freedom, but he never lost his gift. In Potiphar's house, he organized. In prison, he interpreted. Before Pharaoh, he strategized. The gift kept making room, level by level, until a nation was fed. Genesis 41. Write this down. If they strip you, they cannot stop you if you still serve your gift. Another one. David's job was shepherd. His work was leadership through worship and warfare. He was paid to watch sheep. He was born to write psalms and deliver nations. He deployed the sling, then the harp, then the sword. Same gift, delivering through courage and presence, different stages. Say it with me. Leaders don't seek followers. Followers are attracted to leaders. How? Through consistent gift-based service. Jesus did not hand out membership cards. He served value. He taught them many things. Mark 6:34. He fed their hunger with bread and with truth. Even then, he tested motives. Ye seek me not because ye saw the miracles, but because ye did eat of the loaves. John 6:26. Write this down. When you deploy value, crowds arrive. When you define vision, pretenders leave. When you keep serving, the called remain. Stop asking, how do I get followers? And start asking, how do I increase value? Fruit attracts, by their fruits ye shall know them. Matthew 7:20. We are entering 2025's creator service economy. Write this down. Niche mastery outruns generic noise. The platforms are crowded, the problems are not. Solve a precise problem with your precise gift, and you will never have to beg for attention. Dabblers drown in algorithms. Deployers dominate in assignment. If your voice is everywhere and your value is nowhere, you are a clanging cymbal. Paul says, having then gifts differing according to the grace that is given to us, whether prophecy, let us prophesy, or ministry, let us wait on our ministering. Romans 12:6-7. Different is divine. Find your different and do it daily. Let me be practical. If you are a teacher by gift, stop only filling church seats. Start designing curricula that transform a specific learner. Measure comprehension, not claps. If you are a financial architect, stop posting motivational quotes, build systems for a niche. Creatives, contractors, or clergy. Track margins saved, not impressions gained. If you are a healer, stop waiting for a hospital promotion. Create protocols that reduce readmissions in one community. Record the outcomes. Publish the method. Make the value undeniable. Write this down. Fruit is your resume, not paper. Proof. A brother stood up last year in my session, frustrated, broke, angry. He said, they keep overlooking me. I asked, what is your gift? He mumbled, I cut hair. I said, no, say it right. My gift is restoring confidence through precision grooming and conversation. I told him, deploy it as a ministry to young men before interviews. Free on Fridays. Excellence always. He did it. 60 days later, he sent me photos, lines outside his shop, testimonies of jobs won, fathers thanking him, a non-profit partnership formed. He stopped chasing followers and started serving his gift. The right people found him. Gratitude increased. Results compounded. Effort felt light. That's the signal. Write this down. Employment is a contract with a company. Deployment is a covenant with your calling. Jesus said, occupy till I come. Luke 19:13. Occupy means do business, trade with what I gave you, multiply it, not hide it, not bury it. The servant who buried his talent was called wicked, not because he stole, but because he refused to deploy. Matthew 25-26. Heaven calls hoarding wickedness and calls service worship. Whatsoever thy hand findeth to do, do it with thy might. Ecclesiastes 9:10. And faith without works is dead. James 2:17. Work your work. Some of you are waiting for a perfect stage. Write this down. Deployment starts where you stand. Joseph's stage was a prison ship. Lydia's stage was a marketplace by a river. Acts 16:14, 1:5. Start. Consistency beats virality in the kingdom. Post less, produce more. Speak less, solve more. And please hear me as a father. Stop apologizing for your niche. You are not for everybody. You are for somebody specifically. Serving everyone is serving no one. Precision is compassion. So here is your confession. And I want you to say it like a covenant. I deploy my gift daily. Fruit is my resume. Again, I deploy my gift daily. Fruit is my resume. Say it until your calendar submits to it. Say it until your budget funds it. Say it until your team protects it. Write this down. If they can't explain your gift, they cannot steward your time. Clarify it, name it, schedule it, serve it. And watch what happens. Followers you never met will begin to follow the trail of transformation your gift leaves behind. In 2025, vision will filter your decisions, and your gift will deliver your distinction. Do your job if you must, but don't abandon your work. Jobs end, work endures. When the paycheck pauses, the purpose must keep producing. And as you deploy, not dabble, not delay, deploy, heaven will amplify your signal. The right eyes will see, the right ears will hear, and the right hearts will gather. Because value is magnetic, and your gift, served faithfully, becomes the compass that leads the ones assigned to you home. Now we come to the moment that separates talkers from leaders. Write this down. Leadership is born when toleration ends. Say it again. Leadership is born when toleration ends. Whatever you tolerate, you will never change. That is why some of you have been circling the same mountain for 10 years. Not because you lack talent, but because you keep giving oxygen to what insults your vision. Hebrews 12:1 says, let us lay aside every weight and the sin which doth so easily beset us. Weights are not always wicked. Many times they are tolerated habits, tolerated people-pleasing, tolerated clutter. We have prayed about them. We have journaled about them, but we have not ended them. And faith without that action is dead. Even so faith, if it hath not works, is dead, being alone. James 2:17. Let me give you a picture. Rosa Parks was not carrying a title. She was not elected. She did not have a press team. She made a decision. On a bus in Montgomery, she refused to give up her seat, and a movement found a leader. Was she the only one who was tired? No. But she was the one whose toleration ended. Leadership is born when toleration ends. They asked her later why she didn't move. She said, my feet were tired, but hear the deeper, meaning her soul was tired of agreeing with an insult to her assignment as an image bearer of God. Genesis 1:26 declares, let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion. Dominion does not tolerate degradation. Her no birth, 1,000 yeses in others. Write this down. Your private intolerance licenses public courage. Some of you are still at the Red Sea, crying and fasting about Pharaoh's chariots. And the Lord is saying what he told Moses, wherefore criest thou unto me? Speak unto the children of Israel that they go forward. Exodus 14:15. Stop praying only. Be active. I believe in prayer. I live by it. But prayer that refuses to act is religious theater. The kingdom is not meat and drink. It is righteousness, peace, and joy, order in motion. If you have prayed, now ask, what must I end to obey what I heard? Write this down. Prayer locates the path. Action moves the feet. Here is the prophetic warning for 2025. The year will punish tolerated mediocrity. It will expose cluttered calendars that do not match your calling, unclear offers that confuse your customers, and unkept promises that erode trust. Algorithms are amoral. They reward consistency and clarity, not charisma. Teams are exhausted. They will not follow your feelings. They will follow your fruit. Markets are crowded. They will not reward generous in disguise. They will reward precise, dependable value. If you keep tolerating lateness, scope creep, vague meetings, and tempting opportunities that do not pass your vision filter, you will spend 2025 busy and broke full of activity, void of arrival. Write it down. Toleration is the slow leak that flattens destiny. So I am giving you an assignment for the next 24 hours. Call it your intolerance inventory. Say it with me. I refuse what insults my assignment. Again, I refuse what insults my assignment. In the next day, I want you to list 3 tolerations that violate your vision, only 3, and end them. Not 10, 3. The right 3 will set the others on fire. Examples? That weekly meeting with no agenda that drains 2 hours and produces nothing, end it or transform it by anchoring it to the GPS. That client who pays late, disrespects your boundaries, and derails your schedule, end the contract with honor and clarity. That cluttered product page that promises everything to everyone, in the fog. Choose the one offer that matches your assignment and write it in one sentence a child can repeat. That habit of checking your phone in bed until midnight, end it. Set a hard stop so your morning belongs to vision. That partnership you keep nursing out of loyalty while it violates your destination, end it. You are not rude. You are responsible. Write this down. An ended toleration is a freed resource. When you end a tolerated distraction, time is released to vision. When you end a tolerated compromise, confidence is released to leadership. When you end a tolerated silence, your voice is released to call the right people. Send 3 messages in the next 24 hours. 3. 1 cancellation, 1 boundary, 1 clarity statement. Dear team, effective immediately. Meetings require a 2-sentence vision read, 3 checkpoints, and a named functional lead. 15 minutes max. Dear client, we value your business to serve with excellence. All projects now operate under our standard terms. Deposit up front, response windows, clear scope. Dear audience, in 2025, our singular focus is equipping fathers with rites of passage. Expect weekly tools. If you need concerts, we are not your house. Hit send, then breathe. The heaven you have been praying for meets the earth you structure. Some of you are nervous. You are thinking, what if I lose people? You will. Write this down. Pruning is not loss, it is strategy. Jesus said, every branch that beareth fruit, he purgeth it, that it may bring forth more fruit. John 15:2. Purge the tolerated, more fruit will come. Be ye doers of the word and not hearers only, deceiving your own selves. James 1:22. Self-deception is when you sing about freedom while scheduling bondage. The world does not change because you cry. It changes because you choose. I feel a father's push right here. Say it with me. Toleration ends today. Again, toleration ends today. I refuse what insults my assignment. I honor my vision with decisions. I serve my gift with boundaries. I protect my fruit with standards. Write this down. Standards are love for your future. 2025 belongs to the decisive. The men and women who say, as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord, Joshua 24-15. And then arrange their calendar, their budget, and their partnerships to match that sentence. Before the sun sets tomorrow, I want evidence. A canceled meeting on your calendar, a clarified offer on your website, a boundary communicated to a client or colleague, a habit dismantled and replaced, a 10 p.m. phone shut down, so your 5 a.m. reading of the vision is uninterrupted. Take a photo of the change if you must. Document it. Why? Because by their fruits we shall know them, and fruits begin with roots. Roots are planted by decisions. Leadership does not begin with applause. It begins with an intolerance that says no more. This is your turning point. Not next week, not next quarter. Now, the Spirit has already spoken. The sea is in front of you. The chariots are behind you. Heaven is waiting on earth to move. Stretch your rod, your decision, and step. Leadership is born when toleration ends, and the moment you refuse to tolerate what violates your vision, the path that was closed begins to open. Go forward. Now we move from poetry to plumbing. Vision must get its hands dirty. Write this down. Vision that cannot be scheduled is just a dream. Say it with me. Vision leads by occupying my time, my money, and my measures every week. Scripture commands it. Write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it. Habakkuk 2:2. If it cannot be read, it cannot be run. If it cannot be run, it cannot arrive. And Moses prayed, so teach us to number our days, that we may apply our hearts unto wisdom. Psalm 90:12. Numbered days are led days. Unnumbered days drift in circles. Here is the framework. Write this down and tattoo it on your calendar. 3 layers. 3 strategic intents for 12-36 months, 9 projects for the next 12 months, and weekly big rocks for the next 7 days. Strategic intents are destinations, pictures of outcomes that serve the vision, not decorations that impress donors. Projects are the vehicles that carry you toward those intents. Big rocks are the irreducible actions this week that move each project forward measurably. Nothing mystical, nouns and numbers. For example, if your vision is to reform vocational dignity among youth in your city, your 12-36-month intents might read: establish a self-sustaining trades academy with 300 certified graduates per year. Secure partnerships with 5 employers, guaranteeing apprenticeships. Publish a replicable curriculum adopted by 3 cities. That's 3. In the next 12 months, your 9 projects would align: facility retrofit, curriculum V2, instructor pipeline, accreditation, employer contracts, funding model, student recruitment, mentorship system, outcomes, dashboard. This week's big rocks: secure building permits, pilot 2 modules with 20 students, interview 3 instructors, finalize MOU with employer A. Done is defined before you start. Write this down. Vagueness is the enemy of velocity. Now let's put vision on the calendar. I am pleading as a father. Time block your vision before people. Book your life. If you do not put the future on your calendar, emergencies will colonize it. For which of you, intending to build a tower, sit it not down first and counted the cost? Luke 14:28. Counting the cost includes counting the hours. Decide which hours are holy to your assignment and guard them like Nehemiah on the wall. He said, I am doing a great work so that I cannot come down. Nehemiah 6:3. Choose your 2 prime 90-minute blocks daily for deep work on projects, not email confetti. Label them by project name, not by mood. Accreditation dossier draft, curriculum pilot debrief, employer MOU. Then add your weekly review block to open the week and your fruit report block to close it. If you lead a team, your calendar is a pulpit. Preach priority with your appointments. Write this down. If your calendar does not show the vision, your team will never see the vision. Protect the Sabbath of your assignment. You cannot keep speed without rhythm. Theme your days if it helps. Monday build, Tuesday sell, Wednesday serve, Thursday review, Friday refine. But never let the urgent evict the essential. Your phone is not your master. Vision is. Open your week by reading the vision out loud with your team. 5 minutes, same 2 sentences. It calibrates souls. Then read the 3 strategic intents and the 9 projects. Everyone sees the same mountain. Now assign this week's big rocks to functions with names and deadlines. Close your week by reporting fruit, not activity. Which leads us to the budget and the scoreboard. Your budget is your belief on paper. For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. Matthew 6:21. If your heart is in the vision, your money cannot be in nostalgia. Write this down. Fund vision, not memory. Too many organizations tied to the past. You keep paying for programs because they are familiar, not because they are fruitful. Jesus cursed a tree that had leaves and no fruit. Mark 11:13-14. Leaves are optics. Fruit is outcomes. Allocate money to projects that produce fruit toward the strategic intents. I recommend a simple covenant for the next 12 months. 60% of spend to core value creation, curriculum, product, service, delivery, quality. 20% to distribution and partnership, getting value to the right people. 10% to infrastructure and compliance. The $4 wires we talked about, systems that prevent stalls. 10% to R&D and margin exploration and emergency. Adjust the percentages to your season, but never reverse the order. Do not spend more on announcing than on advancing. Write this down. If the budget funds applause more than improvement, you are worshiping crowds, not serving destiny. Count the costs before you commit. Price your projects in real numbers with dates. Prepare thy work without, and make it fit for thyself in the field, and afterwards build thine house. Proverbs 24-27. Sequence matters. Don't rent an office to impress a visitor when your accreditation file is empty. Don't hire a social media manager when your service protocol is unrepeatable. Spend first on what produces repeatable fruit, then on what amplifies it. And honor your small hinges. Budget for QA, documentation, and calendar integration. Those are the $4 wires. Cheap to ignore, expensive to repair. Leaders fund what the crowd disregards. Now the scoreboard. Jesus said, by their fruits ye shall know them, Matthew 7:20. And herein is my Father glorified, that ye bear much fruit, John 15-8. Write this down. Define 3 5-fruit metrics that prove value delivered, transformation achieved, and repeat service. Not vanity metrics. Vanity metrics are those the algorithm loves, but the assignment ignores. Likes, impressions, raw foot traffic divorced from change. Fruit metrics smell like mission. For the Trades Academy, fruit might be number of graduates placed at living wage jobs within 90 days. 12-month retention rate in employment. Average income uplift compared to baseline. Apprenticeships secured per quarter. Inbound employer requests for a clinic. Readmission, reduction in target condition. Patient reported outcome improvement within 30 days. Protocol adherence. Inbound referrals from satisfied patients. Repeat appointment rate for ministry. Documented life change testimonies by theme. Small group retention. Volunteer deployment to service. Inbound invitations to replicate the model. Percentage of budget invested in community outcomes. Write this down. If you cannot measure change, you may be entertaining pain. Attract versus chase is a scoreboard category. Isaiah prophesied, and the Gentiles shall come to thy light, and kings to the brightness of thy rising. Isaiah 60:3. When vision is lit and gift is deployed, the right people come. Track it. How many inbound requests did we receive this week without advertising? How many referrals came from transformed beneficiaries? How many repeat engagements were initiated by past clients? That is magnetism. When inbound rises, you are leading by value. When chasing consumes your calendar, you are begging for relevance. Write this down. Track pull more than push. Pull proves fruit. Push can be faked. Set your weekly scoreboard on one page. Monday, you begin with the vision reading. Friday, you close with the fruit review. No excuses. Numbers tell the truth, and truth makes you free. When a project misses a target, we don't blame, we diagnose. Is it a belief issue? A skill issue? A $4 wire issue? Or is the project misaligned with a strategic intent? Kill it quickly if it does not serve the destination. Leaders are gardeners. We prune. Jesus said, the Father purgeth branches that bear fruit, that it may bring forth more fruit. John 15:2. Pruning is budgeting your focus. Here is a simple weekly flow to practice. Open with the 2-sentence vision. Read it. Review the 3 strategic intents. Name them. Scan the 9 projects. Green, yellow, red. Identify this week's big rocks by function. Block the time on the calendar, first prime hours. Confirm the money for the rocks. Does the budget match the mouth? Then state the scoreboard, 3 5-fruit metrics. Everyone leaves with the same picture, the same blocks, the same measures. You return on Friday and you answer 3 questions. What fruit did we deliver? What pulled toward us without chasing? What will we prune to go faster next week? Write this down. Ritual creates culture. Culture sustains vision. Say it with me. Vision leads my time. Vision leads my money. Vision leads my measures. Again, vision leads my time. Vision leads my money. Vision leads my measures. This is not corporate, this is kingdom. Order is spiritual. The Holy Spirit hovered over chaos until God spoke order, then creation could emerge. When you order your calendar, your budget, and your scoreboard by vision, creation begins to emerge in your assignment. Suddenly, weeks stop vanishing. Money stops leaking. Meetings stop rambling. Fruit starts appearing. Finally, bind your heart to the covenant of evidence. Every Sunday night or Monday morning, declare with your team, we will open this week by reading the vision. We will close this week by reporting fruit. No one is condemned, but nothing is excused. We are not busy, we are effective. We are not noisy, we are necessary. Write this down. Leaders don't chase days, they direct them. And when you direct your days by vision, Psalm 23 becomes operational. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me. Psalm 23:6. Follow me where? To the destinations, vision already scheduled, funded, and measured. You are not an accident. You are an assignment. God trusted you with time, with treasure, with truth. Prove faithful. Put the vision on the calendar before the world steals your hours. Put the vision in the budget before nostalgia steals your money. Put the vision on the scoreboard before vanity steals your focus. And watch 2025 submit to the order you established this week. Leadership is not talking about the future, it is allocating today. Now, go number your days, block your rocks, fund your fruit, and let your scoreboard preach what your mouth used to promise. Now that you have ended toleration and taken a step, we must make that step a street paved, painted, and protected. Write this down. Culture is what is constantly confessed and consistently enforced. It is not what you wrote on the wall. It is what you say with your mouth and safeguard with your decisions daily. Death and life are in the power of the tongue, Proverbs 18:21. Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaketh, Matthew 12:34. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he, Proverbs 23:7. And hear this kingdom command. Let us hold fast the profession of our faith without wavering, Hebrews 10:23. Profession means confession, what you say publicly, repeatedly, on purpose. Write this down. Behavior follows belief. Belief is engraved by confession. Joshua 1-8 gives you the mechanics. This book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth, but thou shalt meditate therein day and night, for then thou shalt make thy way prosperous. Notice the order: mouth, mind, movement, metrics. Say it, think it, do it, measure it. That is culture. So I am giving you the language of your 2025 culture. 7 sentences that turn your identity into momentum. Say it with me, slow and strong. And write them where your eyes can see them morning and night. 1, the world needs me. 2, I serve my gift. 3, vision decides. 4, fruit over fame. 5, excellence or no. 6, I refuse toleration. 7, we arrive together. Again, say them until your heart believes them and your calendar obeys them. The world needs me. I serve my gift. Vision decides. Fruit over fame. Excellence or no. I refuse toleration. We arrive together. Why these 7? Because they cure the 7 infections that kill destiny, insignificance, distraction, confusion, vanity, mediocrity, compromise, and isolation. If the trumpet give an uncertain sound, who shall prepare himself to the battle? 1 Corinthians 14:8. These declarations tune your trumpet. Write this down. Confession clarifies the sound. Enforcement keeps the beat. Here is your meeting liturgy. Liturgy means ordered ritual habits that teach your soul what to do when your feelings forget. Every meeting, no matter how small, begins with the 2-sentence vision read aloud. Then you recite the 7 declarations together, call and response, strong and brief. Then you state the week's waypoints 3 with nouns and numbers. Then you assign the functional lead for each checkpoint. Then you end with this question. What is the next fruit we will place on the table and by when? Not tasks. Fruit evidence that a human will experience because we moved. By their fruits ye shall know them. Matthew 7:20. Close every meeting with a date attached next fruit and a declaration. Vision decides. Excellence or no. For remote and hybrid teams, here is your asynchronous ritual. Write this down. Rhythm builds culture across distance. Set a daily window, 4:55 p.m. local time in each region for your vision check-in. Each person posts 3 lines in the shared channel. Today, I serve the destination by specific action. The fruit I produced or move closer is measurable outcome. The dependency I need to arrive tomorrow is name, function, plus deadline. Optional, but powerful. Add which declaration you guarded today. Fruit over fame, or we arrive together. No vague poetry. No emoji-only replies. And a rule, no likes without supply. If you click, you must either celebrate specific fruit, remove a blocker, or clarify the next fruit. Why? Because distance magnifies drift. Ritual shrinks it. Now, the language law. Write this down. Words are permission. Ban what betrays the vision and replace it with assignment-aligned language. We do not say, I can't. We say to honor the vision, I need resource by time, or we will adjust the scope. We do not say, I'm just a title. We say, I lead in my function. Here is my supply. We do not say, we'll try. We say, we will or we will not, based on the filter. We do not say, that's not my job. We say, here is how my function can contribute, and here is who must lead. We do not say, I'm overwhelmed. We say, this workload violates excellence. We will prioritize by fruit. We do not say, it's always been this way. We say, vision decides. Replace gossip with requests. Replace excuses with dependencies. Replace delay with dates. Let your yea be yea and your nay, nay. James 5:12. Clarity is love. Write this down. Hire, coach, and release by alignment to declarations, not likability. Amos 3:3 asks, can 2 walk together except they be agreed? In interviews, read the vision. Read the 7. Ask candidates to give you one story for each declaration in their past behavior. During onboarding, require 30 days of the daily check-in ritual and weekly evidence of fruit. Coaching, use the 7 as the rubric. You are talented, but your language chooses fame over fruit. Here are 2 adjustments. If after clear instruction and 2 rounds of coaching, they refuse alignment, release them with honor and clarity. Romans 16:17 warns, mark them which cause divisions contrary to the doctrine which ye have learned, and avoid them. Division is 2 vision. This is not cruelty. This is stewardship. You are protecting the destination and the dignity of every function that wants to arrive. Install these declarations in your home, too. Speak them over your children at breakfast. The world needs you. Serve your gift. Vision decides. Let them hear you catch yourself. I was about to say, I can't. No, I lead in my function. Here is what I need. Culture is caught before it is taught. Habakkuk 2:2 commands, write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it. Post it, print it, pin it, record it, play it. Morning and night. Write this down. Repetition turns statements into standards. Standards shape schedules. Schedules produce fruit. Fruit builds trust. Trust attracts the right followers without you chasing them. I feel a grace to seal this. Stand in your spirit and say it with me. Like a covenant that will govern your mouth and your minutes in 2025. The world needs me. I serve my gift. Vision decides. Fruit over fame. Excellence or no. I refuse toleration. We arrive together again, and picture your meetings, your messages, your metrics bowing to these words. The world needs me. I serve my gift. Vision decides. Fruit over fame. Excellence or no. I refuse toleration. We arrive together. Hold fast this profession. Enforce it with decisions. And watch behavior submit to belief until your culture carries the vision even when you are not in the room. That is leadership by sight. That is how 2025 will be shaped by your confession. Before we press the accelerator, we must install guardrails. Write this down. Don't be impressed with power. Ask where we're going. Say it with me. Don't be impressed with power. Ask where we're going. Charisma can rev the engine. Vision sets the destination. Gifts can gather a crowd. Only sight can guide them home. The Greek word charisma means grace gift. Pagans use charismata to describe gifts of the gods. Gifts are real. But gifts are dangerous when they are not submitted to a destination. John 6:15 says, when the crowd tried to make Jesus king by force, he withdrew to a mountain alone. He ran from their applause to protect his assignment. Write this down. Crowds can crown you into the wrong kingdom. This is my caution to you as we build 2025. Do not confuse magnetism for mandate. A microphone is not a map. A spotlight is not a sunrise. Jesus warned, if the blind lead the blind, both shall fall into the ditch. Matthew 15:14. Blind leaders have big megaphones and no maps. If your influencer cannot state a destination you can test, unfollow. If their life has volume but no fruit, unfollow. If their feed is full of heat and empty of horizon, unfollow. Write this down. Follow sight, not sound. Follow fruit, not fame. Now let us talk about the new idol algorithms. Tools are good servants and cruel masters. The algorithm is amoral. It rewards consistency and controversy, not necessarily conviction. If you let a platform tell you who you are, you will abandon your assignment for applause. Be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. Romans 12:2. The platform is a world. It will try to conform you. Your assignment must transform it. When trends trend, ask your 7-question filter, not your feelings. Serve people, not platforms. Write this down. Chasing trends divorces you from assignment. Consistency to vision produces covenant with the right people. Some of you posted what worked, then posted what worked better until you were preaching to strangers, but your vision never said, stop. Realign. The right people are waiting for your voice, not your mimicry. Guardrail 2. Pre-decide your nose. This is your vision firewall. You do not protect sight by reacting. You protect it by covenant. Daniel purposed in his heart before the menu arrived. Daniel 1-8. That is a firewall. Write this down. Pre-decisions prevent collisions. For 2025, write your no list today. We will not accept invitations that do not move one of our 9 projects forward, even if the room is famous. We will not take money that attaches strings that drag us from our destination, even if the check is large. We will not pivot messaging because of comments. We will refine it because of fruit. We will not launch a new product because of boredom. We will improve the one that serves our vision. We will not expand our schedule beyond the Sabbath rhythm. Fatigue is not a badge, it's a breach. We will not post outrage to harvest attention. We will post outcomes to serve people. We will not measure ego metrics before fruit metrics. Likes or leaves changes fruit. Say it with me. My firewall protects the best from the good. Let me add a father's warning about charisma. I have seen gifts intoxicate rooms and seduce destinies. Samson had power but no boundaries. He became entertainment for his enemies. Saul prophesied among prophets but lost the kingdom because he feared the people. 1 Samuel 15:24. Jim Jones had fellowship without a righteous destination. Blind led blind into a ditch of death. Write this down. Gifts can open doors that only vision and character can keep open. Test every platform, every invitation, every partnership with one sentence. Does this take us closer to the picture God showed us? If the answer is silence, the answer is no. Guardrail 3, Sabbath and solitude. Leaders who cannot hear, cannot see. Habakkuk said, I will stand upon my watch and will watch to see what he will say unto me. Habakkuk 2:1. See what he will say. Hearing produces seeing. Elijah found God not in the wind, not in the earthquake, not in the fire, but in a still small voice. 1 Kings 19:12. Jesus went out to a solitary place and there prayed. Mark 1:35. If Jesus needed solitude to calibrate his assignment, what about you? Write this down. Silence is a steering wheel. Protect daily watchman time, 20 to 60 minutes, where the phone is off, the vision is read, and the spirit is heard. Protect weekly Sabbath, 24 hours, where your value is not your velocity. In quietness and shall be your strength. Isaiah 30 to 15. If the platform punishes Sabbath, break the idol. Better to lose a trend than to lose your sight. Guardrail 4. Test leadership claims with a destination check. When someone says, follow me, ask to where, by when, with what fruit. Don't be impressed with power. Ask where we're going. A blue check cannot replace a blueprint. Pharaoh had armies. Moses had a map. Which one arrived? Write this down. The proof of leadership is arrival, not applause. This is why your calendar, budget, and scoreboard matter. They are your public map. If a mentor cannot show you his map, he cannot guide your route. Guardrail 5. Protect your language. Vision travels on vocabulary. If you let trends rename your assignment, you will drift. Stick with your 2-sentence vision. Repeat it until critics are bored and followers are formed. Paul said there are so many kinds of voices in the world, and none of them is without signification. 1 Corinthians 14:10. Too many voices will scatter your flock. Simplify. Speak one sound until it gathers the right people. Now, create a practice. Before you post, preach, or present, run a triple check. Is this aligned with the written vision? Does this serve the people we are assigned to? Will this be true in 5 years? If any answer is no, delay or delete. Better to be late with substance than early with seduction. Say it with me. I serve vision, not vanity. I serve people, not platforms. I follow maps, not mics. I close with a covenant. For the next 30 days, install your guardrails, unfollow blind guides, mute trends that mock your assignment. Write your firewall no list. Schedule your daily watch and your weekly Sabbath. Share the firewall with your team so they can hold you to it. Then watch what happens. Clarity will return. Peace will increase. Inbound magnetism will rise because purity attracts. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. Matthew 5-8. Purity of heart is purity of intention. Pure intention sees clearly. And when you see clearly, others will trust you with their following. Protect the clarity of vision from seductive metrics and crowds that do not share your destination. 2025 will try to bait you into noise. Resist. Your assignment is too important. Your gift is too valuable. Your destination is too specific. Don't be impressed with power. Ask where we're going and make sure your answer is written, scheduled, funded, and guarded. Now lift your eyes from your desk and look through some windows with me. Proof windows. Write this down. History is the laboratory of vision. The ones who altered eras were not title collectors. They were destination carriers. Vision outranks leadership because sight establishes destination and destination governs decisions. Where there is no vision, the people perish. Proverbs 29-18. But where there is vision, stubborn landscapes and shifting conditions must eventually submit. Look at Moses. The man had no campaign, no focus group, only a sight. At a bush that burned but would not be consumed, God said, I am come down to deliver them unto a good land and a large, unto a land flowing with milk and honey. Exodus 3-8. Hear the language into, not just out of Egypt, into a land. Write this down. True vision names a destination, not merely an escape. Moses endured a wilderness, a Red Sea, a people called stiff-necked, and daily variables, manna today, quail tomorrow, because the destination stayed non-negotiable. Hebrews 11:27 says, he endured as seeing him who is invisible. Sight. What did I say? Sight. He organized tribes by function, captains of thousands, hundreds, 50s, after Jethro's counsel, because arrival required distributed load. He set standards, law, tabernacle, rhythms, because destination needs order. When rebellion rose golden calf, he did not consult a poll. He returned the camp to the vision of a holy nation. Write this down. Moses made decisions by promised land, not by pressure. He even begged, if thy presence go not with me, carry us not up hence. Exodus 33-15. In other words, if the GPS is off, we do not move. That is leadership by sight. The desert did not define policy. Canaan did. Now look at Jesus, the supreme model. He came with a sentence that never changed. I must preach the kingdom of God to other cities also, for therefore am I sent. Luke 4:43. Kingdom first, not crowds first. He fed 5,000, yes. But when the crowd tried to make him a king by force, he withdrew. John 6:15. Why? Because vision decides. Then he taught the hard bread of his body and blood, and from that time many of his disciples went back and walked no more with him. John 6:60. Did the mission wobble? No. He turned to the 12 and said, essentially, are you still coming to the destination? He trained a few, not because he was elitist, but because he was aligned. Write this down. He loved the multitudes, but bet the future on the convinced. He appointed the 70 and sent them by function. Luke 10:1. But when enthusiasm rose or faded, the compass never moved from kingdom. He set his face like flint toward Jerusalem. Luke 9:51. Titles around him meant nothing. Peter's confession and alignment meant everything. Vision outranked charisma, applause, even family expectations. When his own brothers pressed him, he replied, my time is not yet come. John 7:6. That is calendar, budget, and scoreboard governed by a sentence. Open the window of the early church. No buildings, no denominations, no blue checks, just a vision. Go ye therefore and teach all nations. Matthew 28-19. And watch the distribution of leadership by function. Acts 6 problem arises. Widows are neglected. The apostles do not become waiters because vision decides. They say, it is not reason that we should leave the word of God and serve tables. Look ye out among you 7 men of honest report. Acts 6:2-3. Who is the leader? No one. And everyone, each in function, unified in destination. Acts 13 prophets and teachers minister to the Lord. The Holy Spirit says, separate me Barnabas and Saul for the work. Acts 13:2. Distributed deployment by gift. 1 Corinthians 12, one body, many members, diverse operations, same spirit. A $4 wire. Stephen's faithful service ignites a dispersal that plants the gospel in Samaria and beyond. Acts 15, conflict, debate, clarity. It seemed good to the Holy Ghost and to us. Acts 15:28. That is a team agreeing on a destination, not arguing about status. Write this down. When vision is the GPS, leadership spreads wide and stays one. The proof? These that have turned the world upside down are come hither also. Acts 17:6. Fruit, not titles. Let me bring you a modern window. A founder I coached, brilliant, exhausted. Let's call her Ava. She ran a creative agency and chased everything. One week they were branding schools. The next they were producing concerts. Then dangling e-commerce opportunities. Busy, broke. I asked her to read the vision with me. Who do you exist to serve? What fruit proves your worth? After 2 sessions in the 7-question filter, she discovered her gift was not created for all. It was high integrity onboarding experiences for B. 2B SaaS translating complex products into 1 4-day aha moments that convert trials into paid relationships. That was her promised land. She cut 5 offers. She rewrote her site in 1 sentence. A 10-year-old could repeat. She raised her prices to match excellence. She delivered 1 playbook measured by activation rate and 90-day retention. Referrals tripled in 90 days. Inbound requests rose 240% without ads. Her Friday fruit reports changed from 1.2 million impressions to 63% activation, 18% uplift in paid conversions, 10 net new referrals from existing clients. Write this down. Fruit over fame multiplied her influence. The right followers found her because she served a clear vision with a precise gift. Leaders don't seek followers. Followers are attracted to value. I must testify so you know I am not talking theory. I used to sleep on the floor with roaches. I had no office, no staff, no titles, but I had a sentence. I met me in Genesis 1:26. Let us make man in our image and let them have dominion. Not subjugation, dominion. I discovered my work, not my job. Your job is what they pay you to do. Your work is what you were born to do. When I align my calendar to teaching the kingdom of God and the leadership inside of every human, doors I never knocked on opened. A man's gift maketh room for him and bringeth him before great men. Proverbs 18:16. Kings did not come because I begged. They came because vision produced fruit that solved real problems. One day I realized I was unemployable. I had been deployed. They paid me more for my mind in an hour than a job offered in a month. Not because I am special, because vision is magnetic when served with discipline. Isaiah said it. Gentiles shall come to thy light, and kings to the brightness of thy rising. Isaiah 60:3. Rising in what? In sight, in service, in fruit. Write this down. Vision is transferable when it is embodied and measured by fruit. Moses laid hands on Joshua and transferred not only authority but assignment. Be strong and of a good courage, with a map in mind and a law in hand. Joshua 1:6-8. Jesus breathed on his disciples and said, as my Father hath sent me, even so send I you. John 20:21. Same kingdom, same sentence. Measurable fruit. Make disciples, teaching them to observe. Matthew 28:19. 2:0. Paul told Timothy, the things that thou hast heard of me among many witnesses, the same commit thou to faithful men. 2 Timothy 2:2. What things? A doctrine, a discipline, a destination, churches planted, elders ordained, widows cared for, nations reached. Transferable because it was embodied in behavior and tracked in outcomes. If it cannot be lived and measured, it cannot be multiplied. So here is your takeaway from these windows. Write it down and engrave it. Across epochs, durable impact flowed from people who served a clear vision, not those who amassed titles. Moses served the land he never fully walked, but birthed a nation that did. Jesus served a kingdom that could not be shaken. When admirers left, he set his face and kept walking. The early church served a great commission that ignited ordinary people into extraordinary fruit. No cathedrals, just conviction. Ava served a niche that needed her exact gift, and the market testified. I served the sentence God wrote for me, and nations called not my name, but my value. Say it with me. Vision decides. Fruit over fame. We arrive together. Again, vision decides. Fruit over fame. We arrive together. And when your story is read as a window for someone else, may they see what we have seen in these. Not noise, not crowds, not titles, but a people who saw, who served, and who arrived. Now we seal it. A covenant is not a wish. It is a rule that rules you. Write this down. Make vision your leader for the next 30 days, and 2025 will begin to follow you. Proverbs 29:18 says, where there is no vision, the people perish. That means where there is vision, people live, move, and arrive. So for the next 30 days, life returns by discipline. Not feelings. Discipline. Say it with me. I move now. The world needs me. Before I lay out the 4 weeks, I am giving you a 4-8-hour challenge that turns talk into traction. Write this down. Leadership is born when toleration ends. In the next 48 hours, end one toleration, schedule one courageous action, and fund one priority. End one toleration. Cancel the meeting that insults your vision. Resign from the committee that pays you in flattery. Block the distraction that steals your morning. Schedule one courageous action. Book the room for the workshop. Call the partner you've avoided. Set the date to launch the pilot. Fund one priority. Transfer money to the line item that builds your destination, even if it is small. Where your treasure goes, your heart follows. Matthew 6:21. Say it again. I move now. The world needs me. Week 1, vision on one page. Habakkuk 2:2 commands. Write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it. Write this down. One page is mercy. Clarity is charity. Your page will have 3 parts: purpose, picture, proof. Purpose answers why you exist, your assignment to humanity. Picture answers what the destination looks like when it arrives. Describe scenes, not slogans. Proof answers how we will know we are close to fruit a child could count. 1 page. 2 sentences at the top that anyone can repeat. Read it every morning before you touch a screen, and every night before you close your eyes. Joshua 1-8, this book shall not depart out of thy mouth, for then thou shalt make thy way prosperous, and then thou shalt have good success. Mouth, mind, movement, metrics. Place the page where your eyes must see it. Bathroom mirror, lock screen, refrigerator. If you are married or leading a team, read it aloud to each other daily. Write this down. What you read repeatedly will lead you reflexively. Week 2, pruned by the 7-question filter. Jesus said, every branch that beareth fruit, he purgeth it, that it may bring forth more fruit. John 15:2. Purging is pruning. Pruning is proof of love. Take your calendar, your projects, and your channels, email lists, social feeds, platforms, and run them through the 7-question vision filter. Does this move us to the written destination? Does it serve our assigned people? Is this my gift functioning or my ego performing? Is the fruit measurable this quarter? Will this be true in 5 years? Is this excellent or rushed? Does this unite our functions or isolate them? Write this down. Filters remove flies from the oil. Choose 2 items, meetings, projects, channels, and prune them this week, not next year. This week, cancel, delegate, or delay. Create the no in your calendar as a recurring block labeled vision work. The space you create becomes the runway for week 3. Say it with me. Vision decides, excellence or no. Week 3, deploy your gift to shift value in 14 days. Wherefore I put thee in remembrance that thou stir up the gift of God which is in thee. 2 Timothy 1-6. Write this down. Your job is what they pay you to do. Your work is what you were born to do. For the next 14 days, choose one gift-based project that can deliver value to a human being quickly, not a 7-month opus, a 14-day ship. Examples: a 2-hour workshop for 10 people solving one problem you were born to fix. A downloadable guide that turns your expertise into a checklist with outcomes. A prototype counseling session. A beta cohort. A micro product that meets one pain your vision exists to heal. Define the fruit up front. Who will be helped? How they will feel different. What they will be able to do after. Assign a date, a time, and a place, physical or digital. Put it on your calendar. Share it with your accountability partners. Then work backward daily, 2 hours minimum, distraction-free within your Sabbath boundary. Colossians 3:23 says, whatsoever ye do, do it heartily as to the Lord. Heartily means with your whole heart, no half-baked bread. Shift on day 14. Even if small shift is greater than large imagined. Week 4, publish fruit. Review 3 metrics. Adjust by the filter. Jesus said, herein is my Father glorified that ye bear much fruit. John 15:8. Publish fruit means make outcomes visible. Post the case studies. Send the thank you notes with numbers. Put the before and afters on the table. Then measure 3 things every week: time, treasure, and transformation. Time. How many focus hours did your calendar allocate to the written vision? Put the number at the top of next week's plan. Treasure. What percentage of your budget flowed into your vision priorities, not maintenance? Move 10% more toward destination next week. Transformation. What fruit did a human experience because you moved? Count people helped, problems solved, products shipped, souls encouraged unto action. Luke 14:28 asks, which of you, intending to build a tower, sitteth not down first and counteth the cost? Counting is holy. After you count, adjust by the filter. Do more of what produced fruit. Cut what was noisy but barren. Paul said, I therefore so run, not as uncertainly. I keep under my body and bring it into subjection. 1 Corinthians 9:26-7. Adjustment is subjection, bringing your habits under your vision. Every day of the 30, study vision material for 15 minutes. Set a timer. Read your 1-page vision aloud. Review your 7 declarations and study 1 page from a trusted resource on vision, purpose, or deployment. Write this down. Drip daily beats, flood occasionally. Faith comes by hearing, clarity comes by repetition. And book 2, accountability check-ins today. 1 at day 15, 1 at day 30. Choose people who love your destination more than your comfort. Amos 3:3 asks, can 2 walk together except they be agreed? Send them your 1-page vision and the dates Ask them to test you with the 7-question filter and to request fruit, not feelings. I am adding one more covenant line. Put your money where your mission is. Deuteronomy 8:18 says, it is he that giveth thee power to get wealth, that he may establish his covenant. Wealth is a tool to establish, not to impress. So each week, transfer a set amount, no matter how small, into a vision account. Label it arrival fund. Money clarifies priorities. Money breaks procrastination. Money makes appointments keep themselves. Now lift your chin. This is not for the crowd. This is for you, the remnant, who will let sight set your schedule. James 2:17 declares, faith, if it hath not works, is dead. Write this down. Stop praying only. Be active. Let your vision lead you into 2025. Pray, then plan. Plan, then act. Act, then measure. Measure, then adjust. And repeat. Mark 16:20 says, and they went forth and preached everywhere, the Lord working with them. God works with movers. Heaven supplies walkers, not wishers. Say it with me, strong and present. I move now. The world needs me. Sign and date your covenant tonight. Share it with your team or your spouse. Put reminders in your phone for the 4 weekly milestones. Set alarms for your 15-minute study. Book the day 15 and day 30 calls before you sleep. And tomorrow morning, read your 1 page before you read the world. Then go to war with drift. Protect the hours. Prune the waste. Deploy your gift. Publish the fruit. Adjust by the filter. Write this down. The proof of leadership is arrival, not applause. In 30 days, your map will be visible. Your peace will increase. The right people will begin to find you because clarity emits a sound only the assigned can hear. Make vision your leader for the next 30 days, and 2025 will begin to follow you. Not because you shouted, but because you saw. Not because you chased, but because you arrived a little more each week. The world is waiting. Your assignment is calling. Your gift is loaded. Set your face like a flint. Isaiah 50:7. We will meet you at the fruit table on day 30 with proof that sight has taken the wheel.